suck my gut in.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am excited. I am excited because I am going to be interviewing the CEO of AERC. And he's here not to tell us about what AERC is, although I think we're going to hear it. He's going to be talking about this incredible book called The Immortal. I'd like to now introduce to you Mr. Asadorian. I've read most of this incredible book. Are you the author of this art titled Immortal?
Oh man, you're very complimentary to say something like that. I wish I could do such a fantastic work of art like this book is. This is everybody needs this book. And the trouble with the world nowadays is that everybody says that. They say everybody needs this lawnmower, everybody needs this, that, you know, and everybody needs this their particular book. But this is the real truth. Everybody needs this book. Even from a child, even from a youngster, to be able to understand the principles that are in this book. It's a book of wisdom. It's called Immortal, and it's called that for a reason, uh, because it shows you the way to perfect yourself more and more,
Well,
and it's a lot easier than you think.
that sounds wonderful. However, we want to know, are you the author?
As far as being the author, I think I made it pretty clear. I wish I was, but no, I can't say that I'm the author. In fact, I can't even say who the author is, other than that it's R.L. Wise. And the author prefers to remain anonymous. This person is a philanthropist. This person had such a tremendous epiphany that they gained tremendous wisdom that had to be put into a book and shared with the world because the world is starving for it. The world is starving for wisdom. Uh, in a world full of lies and hypocrisy and media and money grabbers and every kind of problem in the world, we need this book.
So is
That's why,
that the reason why R.L. Wise wrote this book?
yes, that's the reason why, because it grants people something that they never thought possible. In fact, they don't even want to believe it because it's so miraculous and so wonderful what it gives to people in this wisdom if you apply it, that they don't believe it. They don't want to believe it, but it's true. And I can verify that it is true, you know. And anybody that's done anything, any certain kinds of things that are good, can verify it does some good for you. It's not just good for others, you know. Consequently, this book is mandatory. It should be in every school. It should be a required curriculum, and it should be practiced by every young. It should be something that a rite of passage that they should apply as soon as they can, when they're young. Does that answer your question, or?
Does you sound extremely enthusiastic about this book? I mean, did it have any personal impact on you? My our listeners are going to want to know because they want to know if it's going to have a personal impact on them.
Well, it doesn't conflict with anything that I've found. It doesn't conflict with anything I've read the Bible too. I've read many other books, a thousand books on spiritual things, and it doesn't conflict with all the righteous good things. But the thing about it is, it's far more extraordinary in how to go directly to the forces that give you healing, that give you wisdom, that give you um, power. Power to do good. You could probably apply it to do evil too, but if you do, it's warned in there that it's going to come back on you. It definitely will come back on you. It points out that there's no escaping. There's no way. Everything good you do, you can't escape getting a blessing for it. And everything bad that you do, you can't escape. Even though it seems like you're going to get away with stealing $1 million that somebody dropped out of a truck and you're going to run away and there's no trace, the universe traces it.
Wow.
God traces it, you know? And everybody with tremendous spiritual power that is granted is in this book also can know about it if they choose.
So it
You
sounds
know,
like it's an instructional book, but R.L. Wise himself or herself, you didn't tell us whether it's a he or she, they're coming from their own life experience or what?
it's from R.L. Wise's life experiences. She doesn't even want me to divulge whether it's a he or a she. So at times during this video and future videos, if we make more, if you choose to make more, will be I'll refer to as a he, as a she. Sometimes I'll say it's me. You know, I that's what I've been
You're
instructed
really trying
to
to
do.
keep this a secret,
Anonymous.
but
Yeah.
can we? It sounds phenomenal. It sounds incredible. It sounds unbelievable. Will the author be talking about their own experiences and these experiences, are they extraordinary?
Yeah, yes, they are, and there's maybe they've had hundreds of experiences, tremendous paranormal experiences, uh, experiences of some people would say it's the Holy Spirit, and other people would say it's just power. This is a real thing. This is real. This is not the fakes, that try to say they have they're going to predict the future for you and that they know everything, they can do all kinds of things, and it's just fake to get your money. We don't want your money. All the money that if people want to donate, if people want to uh, offer their services, donate their time, it's all going to be for charity. I don't get any money at all. I don't want any money. I have cancer right now. I'm told by doctors I should have passed away by now, but I've been applying those principles, and consequently, I've been hanging on much longer. I feel great. Right now, I'm in the middle of a fast. I'm in my fifth day of the fast, and I'm going to go for 2 weeks.
Your own
But
story sounds fantastic. Your own story, and you said it's from the principles in the book.
yes,
Wow, that is incredible. Now, you had a couple of references earlier. You mentioned the Bible and something else. Is this a religious book?
now I everybody and every religion in the world is tainted. There's imperfections in everybody and everything in this world. Uh, there are very, very few people that have had high spiritual experiences. You might say closer to God than anybody else, but it's spiritual, being close to God. The God that R.L. Wise talks about is reality itself. He says that everything around us is alive. It doesn't appear to be alive. This blanket doesn't appear to be alive. All these material things around us don't appear to be alive, but they are changing. They are flowing. There's different speeds at which they flow. We have blood that flows through our body, and we say we're alive as a consequence. But uh, the earth is flowing, but we don't realize it. For instance, there's a trench in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, very deep in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and volcanic material keeps coming up. It's liquid, it's flowing, and it turns into solid materials. But they keep going 1 inch. Scientists tell us it's 1 inch every every year, I think it is 1 inch. It goes out, 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 out. And at one time, it says that America and Africa and Europe were connected together,
Wow.
but they separated as a consequence through all these countless centuries. So it doesn't contradict science. It
Okay.
fulfills science. Science is unable to reach to these spiritual experiences. They were unable to say that the universe is endless because they don't know. But through faith, we realize that the universe is endless. There's no end to all the universe in distance. There's no end to all the universe in time. There's no end to all the universe in knowledge. But there's special knowledge that is at the core of all knowledge. It's called wisdom at the very core. And this is the epiphany that R.L. Wise had and tries to share with you desperately. But there's so much competition in the world of foolish and crazy things. You read a book and you're lucky if there's just a few passages of wisdom in it, even though it's deemed a wisdom book. This book, every page is loaded with wisdom. This is an extraordinary book. It's
Wow.
like right up there with the Bible.
Wow. That's fantastic. Well, you talked about some miracles in here and the wisdom. Can you give us an example?
Well, of course, we don't want to read the book to you right here and now because it hasn't been published yet. It's about to be published, you know. But I do have an example from the book. I can give you one experience that the author had.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
I can
I
read it,
think we'd like to get an idea.
so maybe that wouldn't be bad. Uh, Let me find a spot. Uh, yeah, I got to tell you, I'm very nervous, and I've never done this before. Uh, this is the first time I do something of any, but we're getting this underway. We'd like volunteers, you know.
You're doing well, Mr. Asadorian.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, but I'm just an old guy ready to pass away. But I'm going to have faith in the author's experience and try to do better, and make myself better. This is the author talking. The title, this is right out of the book, so I'm gonna read it. It's called Nimbus. Nimbus, let me explain what that is. It's a radiance that comes out of a person's head. It's not the aura that comes out of. It's like an aura, but it's not the one that comes out of a person's entire body, which we've heard about from spiritual people. So it's talking about the nimbus. I was still 18. It was mid-January 1969. I had experienced the epiphany numerous times by then. I determined to bring it back once again, more than ever. I had been searching and hungering to remember it this early evening. I was driving downtown in Lowell when the realization hit me like a lightning bolt. This would unblock powers that would allow and bring everything I really needed to me and drive away everything that might harm. Thus, my consciousness expanded tremendously. I was deep in tranquility. A surge of tingling and ecstasy filled my body and kept on increasing. I parked the car and walked a few minutes towards my destination on Merrimack Street. It was the coldest night of the year in the single digits, that's Fahrenheit. The ice cold wind blew against everyone. They were shivering, hunched, huddled, and bundled up with layers of heavy clothing. I instead opened my coat and shirt, and exposed my entire midsection and chest because I knew it could not make me even a little chilly. In fact, every blast of freezing wind just made the tingling stronger and multiply on contact. This neutralized all icy gusts. Consequently, no cold could enter my body at all. I was completely comfortable and didn't shiver once. As I approached my destination, my consciousness continued to expand, not only to fill my entire insides, but way beyond my body. Powerful energies were emanating from me beyond the heights of my previous experiences. The next chapter is Living Rainbow. While still walking on the sidewalk, to my boundless amazement, I saw an aura around my head. It was the most beautiful thing I ever saw in my life. It was a flat plane projecting around the sides and top of my head. This nimbus had a radius of at least 18 inches away from the central point in my midbrain, the pituitary area, which I believe was its source. This halo was composed of 3 adjacent concentric circles of bright living light. Each of these ribbons of color was 1 inch wide. The innermost band was bright, healthy blood red. It was opaque, so one could not see through it. The middle band, just after it, was sunshine or bright candle flame yellow. One could not see through that either. The last and uttermost was blacklight, ultraviolet, subtle, almost invisible. This band was translucent, so one could clearly see through it. However, it lightly tinted everything, like looking through flawless stainless glass. As the colors of the most beautiful sunrise surpass a child's coloring it with crayons, the rich colors of my nimbus surpassed the beauty of that sunrise. They were richer, more exquisite, beautiful than anything on earth. They exuded qualities and life, so I dubbed them living colors, because they are the crown and forces of life itself, and simply seeing them blesses and invigorates anyone on many levels. The colors did not blend through countless shades like a rainbow. There was only one solid color throughout each, 1 inch strip. Each of the 3 colors touched each other, but did not overlap or blend. So the combined width of all 3 colors in the nimbus was about 3 inches. This circular plane radiated from the center of my brain, went out the sides and top of my head, Buddhist Theosophist style. It turned with my head. The first instant I saw this, the surface of one color seemed to shudder like a drop of oil falling upon and coloring the surface tension of a puddle. This was conveying my surprise. Then it instantly smoothed, and the distortion disappeared as I regained my composure and focus. So, I suppose the colors precisely communicate what is happening inside one, each thought, emotion, etc. My dear son, daughter, grandchild, and descendants, do not worry about obtaining the heavy crowns of worldly kingdoms. Just trust the Supreme Being without and within you, and you will receive a crown so beautiful and light that you cannot begin to imagine its glory. It was all such a magnificent, joyous, and healing sight. In times past, most all scoffed at reports of auras and halos. But science and technology have advanced somewhat, and they now have cameras far more sensitive than the average human eye. These have since at least sensed various kinds of weak auras around the body composed of light, so faint, so beyond the spectrum of worldly people's perceptions. So they now should admit the reports of some ancient sensitives as true. But my nimbus was not weak, it was powerful and radiant so that any average person could see it. In the future, science will discover the precise halo I have reported here, and again, you'll begin to realize that everything I have said and written is candid and real, and that I have told you the precious truth because I love you with the world, though the world now is a sea of lies.
That's incredible.
A little bit more. Are you beginning to see that there is a natural, superb, and perfect divine plan? Can you begin to understand my uplifting message? It will take you to Empyrean ecstasy. You will not want for anything. You will have everything. The cosmos will pour out in your cup lavishly. It will overflow and completely satisfy. While seeing the aura, I continued walking down the sidewalk. I went into the building and met my nephew. He was still a confidant at that time. So I told him how I just saw my halo. To his last day, he consistently told me that, quote, that time was the healthiest and best looking you ever appeared to me, unquote. And he was not exaggerating. The nimbus starts in the center with invisible frequencies of energy, then radiates out about 18 inches where the visible bands of light I described become observable. Then it continues as invisible frequencies again, further out. Perhaps much more would become visible if I had continued with my experiences and greatened the power. At its strongest and farthest limit, that aura should far exceed mine, to be something like Buddha's or Jesus's. Job reported a similar experience in the Bible. I don't know. Do you want me to read Job's experience to tell you
No,
more?
I don't think we need that. I think the listeners got a really good dose. Very explicit detail. This is wonderful. At the very beginning, before the Nimbus came, it sounded like ROIs was experiencing something or doing something much like the Buddhist monks do, especially the Tibetan monks, where they can sit outside in the freezing cold and in just a robe and not get frozen. It sounded like it was an experience like that. So in this book, I think the listeners are going to want to know, does R.L. Wise actually explain, he tells these great experiences, does he explain how he got there?
Yeah, prior to this in the book, it explains how to achieve these things. And then it shows experiences like this as well. The thing about this author is that she can explain what happened when she has such an experience as this. And there's dozens and dozens of experiences explained in this book and how you can replicate them. All the principles and everything. So it's all in there. And other authors don't seem to be able to do that. They have an experience. They said they have an experience. They might be able to describe their experience pretty good, but they can't explain how the experience occurs or how to replicate it or what were the principles that led to the experience.
Wow.
The author here, R.L. Wise, does that very well. So everybody can understand how Jesus achieved his transfiguration on the mountaintop, how Elijah did his experiences, how the other prophets did, how Buddha did, why Gandhi talks about, these are all good people. There's no contradiction. It's just that this author has experienced far more in many cases and explains better in many cases. A lot of books should have been in the Bible that were written many years ago. The author derives his experiences and the book from his own experiences, from what you might call the Holy Spirit. But and I think the authors of the other biblical texts did the same. The Holy Spirit touched them in many cases, and they wrote about the experiences they had as a consequence.
So,
So very important to everybody because it gives you life, maybe even eternal life, maybe even hundreds of years, thousands of years more, even physically. For instance, in the Bible, they talk about, in the beginning of the Bible, in Genesis, they talk about Adam and Eve and their sons and Noah and many others who lived almost 1,000 years. Wouldn't you like to live almost 1,000 years, especially if you had the greatest health,
yes,
better than you have right now?
I think that's what stops a lot of us from wanting to live a long life because they all see that health goes downhill when you're when you're getting old. And so is and that is something R.L. Wise talks about in the book is longevity.
The book is it's not a short book. It's almost 1,000 pages long.
Mm.
And he decided to break it up into 3 volumes. So you're going to be able to buy it in its entirety at once or a single volume at a time. That's what the plan is. So it might be more economically feasible for you to purchase one of the books for, let's say, $25. You'll get 300 and something pages probably with one book. And if you buy all of it, it'll be almost 1,000 pages. So what I'm trying to say is that everything is explained in this book.
Right.
Everything is detailed, like nobody else can do it, like nobody else can tell you. And this is absolute truth. This is nothing that you can question. When you apply these principles, it will happen to you. It will all happen to you if you apply it, just as said in the book.
Wow. Well, Mr. Asadorian, as the CEO of AERC, what you're enthusiastic about it, but what do you think is going to happen when this book gets out? What's your thoughts?
Well, I think there's only going to be a certain few at first. Some of the more enlightened persons, some people who have intuitively can recognize what good is, and that all religions seem to, have a little bit something missing. A lot of them are just looking for money. But I don't put down religions. They give a lot of good, and we need the good that are in religions. If you're a beginner, or if you stop, but if you want the meat of the truth, go to this book, Immortal, by R.L. Wise, and you will get it. There is some beginner stuff in there, but it's specifically designed for people that want to go all the way, like the disciples and like Jesus himself.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. So the people listening to this, they've heard the excerpts and they're probably excited. How do they get their hands on this book?
Well, I'll probably be selling it on a website that I'm going to complete. It's half done right now, uh, and it's in construction. It's called YZ, the number four dot life. YZ for life, wise for life.
Wise
So,
for love, like wisdom. I get it.
yeah, I'll take credit for that because I named it. That's part of my job as the president of the charitable corporation is to promote the book, promote the knowledge, promote the wisdom, to get it to the world. And, you know, I might even get it. I might, if somebody is really broke and they can prove it and have nothing at all, I might even give some away for free. But, you know, if you got some money, please pay for the book. And if you want to make a donation, please make a donation, but you don't have to. You know, if you want to donate your time, that would help a lot to spread this all through the world. But you need to look at the book, and once you realize how good it is, and once you start putting it into application, it'll all start coming true. And when it starts coming true, you'll believe it more and more.
Wow. And it sounds like you and AERC really want to do some good in the world.
What it's all about. There's
Good.
no other way. We believe and we know that there's perfect justice in the universe. It does not seem that way. I agree on the world. You know, people are killed mercilessly, innocent people, children are killed. I don't want that to happen. I don't want any of that to happen. But there's perfect justice because later on, there's a record of everything that happens. That every thought you think has a imprint, has an effect on everything and changes everything. And it can be reviewed. It can be recorded. Just like the subtle things of our memory, to some degree, we remember, and we record them, subtle things. And but in the universe, everything is recorded, and there's perfect justice. It's explained in the book why and how the universe creates perfect justice. And when I say universe, we talk about the universe as the supreme being, as God, but we don't like to say God. We like to say supreme being because the word God has been tainted so much in the world through various religions. The supreme being is everything around us is alive. It is a being that's alive. And, you know, it's not required to speak English. It speaks English or other languages through people, but it speaks through every dawn, through every star. It speaks through every leaf on a tree, through every rainbow that we see. The almighty, endless, all powerful universe speaks to us constantly all around us. But there's a certain type of meditation described in the book that's that engenders the epiphany and a direct contact with the almighty supreme being that's all around us, that's alive.
Well, there's so much here. It sounds so phenomenal. At the time you're listening to this, the book has been released. The website is below, and you can get your own copy. Thank you very much, Mr. Asadorian, for being here and for telling us all about this, what sounds like an incredibly phenomenal book. And
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
hopefully we'll
I
have
got to thank you once again for all the good things that you do. You go on website, LinkedIn, you go everywhere, and you contact people, and you coach people, and you help people, and you use real principles. You're not fake. You use the real principles to help them. That's one of the reasons why I allow myself to be interviewed by you right here. So thank you. And you're a good friend. I've known you for many years. That's why I trust you so much.
Well, thank you. And by the way, to the listening audience, I'm not ROIs. It's not me. All
Well,
right, thank you very
it
much.
could be.
I hope we get some more interviews together later, and we'll have any information about that below if there are future interviews. Take care, all. Bye.
All right. Bye bye now. God bless everyone. Jesus bless you.